It's more specialist type of portfolio in India, and there's transfer pricing also happening. But overall the growth is great, and our approvals have been significant across our therapy areas in oncology, in rare disease, in cardiovascular and metabolism overall. So it's a good time to bring innovative medicines to India.
Okay. Well, any input cost pressures that you all are facing?
No, as I said, that it is more how are you transforming to a specialist disease organization, and there's transfer pricing thing there. But overall, I think it's very positive direction.
What's your portfolio like in India? How much of it is patented? How much of it is under price control?
Mostly we are transforming towards a specialist disease and towards the patented. And as I'm saying, that our aspiration is to bring innovative medicines to India as rapidly as possible. So we'll see a portfolio turning towards more patented and less towards the general size.
You're looking to divest, I think, one of your manufacturing facilities and probably get a contract manufacturer on board for that facility. Why is that?
Our aspiration is absolutely clear, so that we want to become a specialist disease area organization, and this comes from an aspiration to bring innovative medicines as fast as possible. It's in line with that strategy. The other part is that how do we bring this Make in India concept, and we believe that some of medicines can be made by contract manufacturing. So it's in line with that absolute strategy which we want to do as we go ahead.
How big is this unit? How much are you probably looking to probably garner in terms of sales?
So that we cannot talk about. So the search is on for a CMO, and once we get further, we'll let you know.
Okay. Well, the possibility of shedding this manufacturing facility comes at a time where the likes of Novartis is also conducting a strategic review. So there are MNCs, pharmaceutical MNCs, which are looking to probably streamline operations in India, probably look at, reducing their operation costs as well. Is AstraZeneca looking to do that?
No, I think in fact we are strengthening our footprints in India. So if you see, AstraZeneca has more than 3,000 to 4,000 employees across different functions. So we are not only a commercial organization. We also have factory, which we just spoke about, and how are we using this at a CMO. But we also have R&D. We have SMM, which is clinical trials team. We have a big center of Global Innovation Technology Center, which houses more than 2,000 people in Chennai. And we have a footprints of bringing. So I think we are actually strengthening our footprints in India. And I'm really pleased to announce that it's not about bringing science, but also focus on sustainability. So we recently announced 64 million trees being planted to take care of the planet. And this is in India and for India. So nothing to do with commercial, but our footprints in India is actually increasing. So bringing science to patients is one part, but how do we really contribute to the healthy people, society, and the planet? And a sustainability agenda is very high for us.
Meanwhile, Japan's Takeda Pharmaceutical partners with Indian vaccine maker Biological E to boost manufacturing of Takeda's dengue vaccine. Here's what Gary Dubin of Takeda and Mahima Datla of Biological E said about the tie-up.
Mr. Dubin as well as Ms. Dalta, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining in and speaking to CNBC-TV18, and congratulations on this tie-up with regards to a dengue vaccine. Can you just take us through the details of the tie-up? Mahima, let's start with you.
I'm sure Gary would like to chime in. From our part, we'd just like to say we're delighted to be partnering with Takeda. As you know, this is the only licensed dengue vaccine in the world, so of great public health importance. And Takeda as a company has a very long and richly textured history as well, so just delighted to be partnering with them.
So maybe I can just say a few words of context. Dengue is a global problem affecting half the world's population. Our ambition in Takeda is to be able to produce 100 million doses a year by the end of the decade. And our partnership with Biological E is a critical part of our manufacturing supply strategy. Through this partnership, BioAsia will be producing up to 50 million doses, half of our supply. And that supply will not just be for India, but for global markets as well. So very, very happy to be here to announce this partnership today.
Okay, so BioE will be producing around 50% of the total dosage requirement. Where exactly will it be manufactured? What would be the details in terms of manufacturing, regulatory approval?
So we'll be manufacturing this here in Shamirpet in Genome Valley, where all of our vaccines are currently produced, and together we'll be in close contact with the Indian regulators as we start to shepherd this for licensure here.
What is the scale-up that we can probably expect from this partnership?
Well, the first part of the partnership will actually be technology transfer of the manufacturing process from Takeda to Biological E. And then after that technology transfer is completed, we'll start, BioE will start commercial manufacturing. And you know, of course, we're at the very beginning of the collaboration, so the detailed plans are just being established now.
So dengue, like you mentioned, is a very critical tropical disease which needs to be encountered. What is the efficacy of this vaccine?
Yeah, so in our Takeda's Phase 3 development program, we conducted a very large safety and efficacy trial involving 20,000 children 4 to 16 years of age. It's the largest clinical trial that Takeda has ever done. And in that clinical trial, we have done long-term follow-up. In fact, we just published a few weeks ago the detailed results of the long-term follow-up, which show that the vaccine has sustained efficacy against dengue fever and a high level of efficacy against dengue fever leading to hospitalization. The efficacy against hospitalized dengue is about 84% over the 4.5 years, so very substantial efficacy, which we believe will contribute significantly to the public health value of the vaccine.
Where will it be available? Which are the countries? And what is the plan with India?
Yeah, so we have already launched the vaccine in about 20 countries. The vaccine was approved first in Indonesia, then in the European Union. We have launched in many of the European Union countries, Indonesia, Brazil, Argentina, Thailand. We continue to await regulatory approvals in other countries. In India, we have recently received a no objection certificate from the Indian regulators. We are planning to start a clinical trial and in discussions now with regulators about the timeline for approval.
My colleague Ekta Batra also caught up with Sarah McMullen, the country director, US FDA, at the BioAsia 2024 summit, and began by asking about the recent cases of issues such as quality of data and data integrity. Take a look.
Sarah, thank you very much for joining in and speaking to CNBC-TV18. Well, I'm going to start with the recent spate of inspections. Some of them have brought up issues such as quality of data, data integrity. Why is that?
So while I can't speak to the specific reasons as to why we're finding more data integrity issues, I will say that we are finding them throughout facilities, and so we're finding it in manufacturing as well as laboratory. And when we find data integrity issues that are so extensive in facilities, it really speaks to the quality culture of that facility. And what we want to see from companies is not just a quality motto, which most companies should have and do have. We want to see them empower their employees at every level to make the right decisions regarding product quality and to have the accountability to follow that up. And so that's maybe one of the pieces that we think could solve some of these data integrity issues.
But there was a whole spate or a period of time where Indian manufacturing facilities did not see data integrity issues. It seems to be a resurgence probably in the past 1 year, maybe more so post-COVID. Is that a trend that you're spotting?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say if those issues still existed and we just weren't seeing them, and now we're able to discover them. So hard to say, but now that we see them, we really want to take concerted efforts to fix them.
What is it across the board? Is it facilities across India where you're seeing data integrity issues, or is it specific to a certain location?
Not specific to a certain location. So I think this is something that all of industry can engage in and look to improve practices.
And when you say quality of culture needs to improve, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it really just is allowing employees to make the right decisions and encouraging them to make the right decisions and having the accountability to make sure they're making the right decisions.
So in terms of the trend that we've seen, OAIs, NEIs or VAIs, official action indicated, and the others, what is standing out more in terms of a classification for Indian plants currently?
So I think there's good news for Indian industry on this. Setting aside the data integrity issues, I think in general we're seeing an improvement in compliance. And a lot of that is that right post-COVID we were doing a lot of follow-up compliance inspections. And now we've done more surveillance inspections this past year. In fact, we did over 2.5 times the number of surveillance inspections this past year than we did the previous year. And so as such, we've seen the compliance rates improve and the OAI rates actually drop over the last year.
Is the backlog over in terms of inspections post-COVID in Indian facilities?
Well, backlog is always a tough word, right? Because we always have competing priorities and inspections and prioritization of inspections that really plays into our ability to see all the facilities that we need to see. And so that's a dynamic process for us in terms of prioritizing inspections.
There are many facilities which have had warning letters, import alerts, say during COVID or maybe just around that period, and they still remain unresolved. Why is that? Is that because remediation takes so long, or is that because there is a backlog in terms of inspection?
So if they've been re-inspected, we did see a lot of those re-inspections continue to be non-compliant. And so that means that the remediations were not considered to be sufficient enough to overcome the original problems that were found in that facility. So as such, I'm sure facilities will have a new list of items to address if they've been re-inspected and continue to be found non-compliant.
Let's now shift our focus to the latest edition of the Mobile World Congress taking place in Spain's Barcelona. World's biggest tech giants are showcasing their latest technology innovations and futuristic product lineups. Lenovo has launched the world's first laptop with a transparent display at the event. The ThinkBook has a 17.3-inch micro-LED display with AI object recognition to identify objects placed behind the laptop. My colleague Rima, who is at the event, spoke to the executive director, who is also the creator of this laptop, and asked him more about it. She also caught up with HCL Tech's president of engineering and R&D services, Vijay Anand Guntur, and asked him about the adoption of private 5G and generative AI use cases. Take a look.
Hi guys, I'm at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona 2024. In front of me is the most exciting, the most innovative launch of this year, and it's the world's first transparent laptop. It's showcased by Lenovo, and with me is the creator of this product, AG. Hello AG.
Hey, hello.
You're the man of the moment.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to showcase this leading the technology product here.
Okay, as you can see here, guys, that this is a completely transparent laptop. It's got a glass screen. You can see through it. It's translucent. You can see my hand. You can see the sunflower behind. And that's the keyboard. Do you want to quickly take us through the functions and how it operates?
Oh, yeah, of course. So we call this Lenovo the transparent laptop concept. It's not a real product yet. Yeah, but it's also with a very leading micro LED technology here. You know that for the traditional display, there are two layers. One is a backlight, the other is crystal liquid. So the crystal liquid itself is not transparent. So with the traditional technology, you definitely cannot make the transparent PC. But for this one, we use a micro LED. That means we put millions of the dots in the glass. Every dot actually is a micro LED light, so that it can create light, and with three colors together to combine with, you can show a white color. With millions of dots, you can display anything on the glass. But when we power off the dots, so that you can see that it's almost 100% transparent.
AG, you know what's most disappointing? That this is a concept laptop. Why is Lenovo not putting it into production? And how long did it take you to create this product?
Yeah, I'm also disappointed that I cannot make it a product right now. So because this is really a challenging and a leading technology, so we have spent more than 2 years to from just the idea or some pieces of technology, combine them together and put it in the system as a concept of laptop. We already spent more than 2 years, but I think in the coming several years, we will keep working on it and keep investing on this leading technology to make sure that it can be better enough. For example, can be thinner, can be less power consumption, can be solid, durable enough. Then when you use it, you cannot destroy it easily, right? Currently, it's very fragile, so I think it only can be a concept.
And it's also a little expensive, right?
Yes, of course, because we have lots of engineering work on it. We make a lot of investment. If right now we bring to market, definitely it will be very, very expensive. So I think we may take some more time to make it better and cheaper, can be affordable in the market.
We're at the HCL Tech booth, and joining me now is Mr. Vijay Anand, the head of their ER&D business at HCL Technology. Mr. Anand, thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you for coming over and glad meeting you here.
So last year, HCL Tech showcased private 5G network. 1 year since, what's the offtake been like? And if you could give an indication of the kind of spending we've seen on private 5G networks.
Private 5G adoption is growing, and we can see that in adoption in manufacturing as an industry segment. We also see a lot more greenfield industry implementations of private 5G. We see that there is more adoption, and there's a bigger ecosystem that is playing to create this impact with private 5G adoption in the market. And I think there are platform players, there are startups, and there are lots of people who are creating impact in the adoption space.
Can you give an example of one of your customers where they are leveraging private 5G network? And is it still largely to do with manufacturing, or other sectors and industries also adopting private 5G?
Yes, there are many other sectors adopting beyond manufacturing as well. We see adoption in airports to be one use case where we have done some proof of concepts.
Can you talk about it?
A little bit, yes. We've seen the data when an aircraft comes into an airport, the amount of data that needs to be downloaded and analyzed, that's growing in size. So that's a good use case for private 5G. We have seen another use case for private 5G in mining, where worker safety is important, and we are working with one of our customers in that space.
Okay. What about generative AI? That's the new buzzword. How are you incorporating generative AI? And now when you talk to customers at this MWC versus the previous one, what's the difference?
I think generative AI has become very real. When we were there last time, it was a technology play. Today it is becoming a real business impacting play. We are seeing horizontal use cases which are across multiple streams, as you would expect, in marketing, in customer support, in engineering, and now we are seeing also specific vertical use cases that are coming, which is early days. The POCs have been there for quite some time. Now we see POCs getting into production.
Tell us about some of the POCs where they've now moved into production, just to explain it to a customer who doesn't understand.
Okay, one of the POCs that's gotten into production is around a company that wants to improve their software engineering productivity, and they are deploying some tech that we have built together in this space to create a higher level of software productivity, as well as reduce the time to market of products that they are building using this. And we are also doing generative AI induced products in our HCL software business, where in the product itself there is AI that can be used by end customers.
And that's the latest from the Mobile World Congress. On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, a special report on an inspirational journey of an acid attack survivor, Shaheen Malik. Stay tuned.